here at Sacatura Place in Beach Rivera, California. I am Jesus Coronel, unfortunately on my own for the time being, but that won't stop us from having 12 people in this first ever challenge for the month of November, and we have Tyler Deacy on our perspective side, and they will be rocking a very interesting team indeed, and Michael Wagner will send out the Flamingo and the Golden Go. We are already a little behind as we already are quick to move. Michael with his team of Pamungus, Flamingo, Golden Go, and Cineroar, Porygon 2 in the Ursaluna. Tyler, they are on the Tyranitar, Magmar, Corviknight, Annihilate, Malandini, and the Alolan Trio. And we see the leads come out. Michael on the Flamingo Goldango, which is a pretty standard lead for the type of... You know, this team's been popular since Baltimore. It's, just like, it's always been on the cusp of, like, viability and then fallout of just, like, sheer meta adaptability. There we go, that was the word I was looking for. Tyler, on the other hand, mostly steal good stuff, but there's some weird, wacky tricks up the sleeve. One of them especially is that Alolan Trio, which is going to combo pretty well with the Tyranitar once you'll see as his timer runs pretty low. Flamingo does go for the close combat. His first attack into the Corviknight won't even take it past half HP, but it will go ahead and drop Flamingo's defenses each by one. Doubles into the Corviknight with the Shadow Ball. It is not enough to knock out the Corviknight, even with that Life Orb boost Goldango had. Annihilate is going to go for the coaching onto the Corviknight, so we're going to increase attack and defense buff, but if it did not click Roost, it's going to be susceptible to another close combat, and it went for another bulk up. It might not be surviving another turn by this point. And so what needs to be happening here is that Corviknight probably has to switch out here or go down to another close combat because, well, Flamingo's faster. Well, no, Goldango's also faster, so Corviknight's probably not going to survive another attack this turn. Meaning that an Annihilate is probably going to do a lot of heavy lifting. You know, have a look at this Annihilate. It does have the Rage Fist, but so far it has not been touched, so Goldango's going to take it pretty comfortably. And Power Trip, although it's nice to have with those stat buffs, the problem is just that once again you took too much damage on the first turn, and being as slow as you are, you're not going to get much mileage out of your moves. Flamingo protects. See what the Golden Go does here for Michael. A Shadow Ball's into the Corviknight and it will go down. It's now out of the equation for Michael, and probably for the better of his for his sake. And here's a Life Orb damage once again. Rage Fist does perfectly target into the Golden Go, but once again, this is the base 50 power of Rage Fist. It does a good amount of damage to the Golden Go, to be fair, but that's not good enough in this situation as indeed he switches in for Tyler, which will threaten the Expanding Force, but there's also a wide guard there on the Flamingo. And there's a thing with the Goldango, with the Flamingo as well, because sometimes you are going to have situations where you want to have Tailwind on the Flamingo to get speed control in your favor when you don't really need the speed control. When you need the speed control against other Tailwind teams, or you would just rely on your Trick Room like Michael's doing here, and it's like you don't need the Tailwind, you can just go wide guard to protect yourself from things like that Expanding Force. And it just, once again, just puts into a situation where Annihilate's actually in trouble from the Shadow Ball just off the Life Orb damage, the booster that it got. And the fact that it's also super effective because it's Ghost on Ghost. DNDD is faster though, so it will have a chance to at least fire off a Terra Blast or Expanding Force, whichever Tyler chooses. You know, they'll have the choice on their platter here. The Terra's going to come out. It's going to be a Psychic Terra. So if Michael chose to go for Wide Guard, then you will at least be able to use Terra Blast to bypass that wide guard, as it does come out to block the Expanding Force. But if it's a Terra Blast, I think Goldango is going down this turn. It is a Terra Blast. Where did this target? It targeted the Flamingo. It'll go down to the Focus Sash. And now Goldango has free reign to go for something like that Shadow Ball into the Annihilate. Or if Michael's good enough to call it, which did not go into the Needy, because if we would have called the Needy, it probably would have went down there. But instead, Annihilate goes down in a single hit thanks to the Life Orb boosted Shadow Ball. And this is just the situation that Michael's gotten himself into, you know. Great offensive situation, and really, this game's soundedly about over unless Tyler's Magmar can put in some work where it needs to, because the Choice Scarf is going to make the Flamingo in a... No. So Flamingo pretty much has to either go for another wide... No, it's Choice Scarf, so... This indeed is Choice Scarf, so it will stay using Terra Blast for the remainder of the turn. I mean, and the rest of the game as well. Meaning, Flamingo finally has no reason to go for Wide Guard anymore. Meaning, you could just go Brave into the Indeedee to potentially knock it out. You also are pretty free to just continue launching Shadow Balls because now Indeedee's immunity to Ghost type is gone with that Terra Psychic. But instead, we're going to see the Flamingo switch out here, likely to preserve it just to reset the close combat drops that it received, but also could be useful for taking damage against this Indeedee with this Porygon 2 switching in here. Golden Go protects, meaning that this Magmar probably won't have much to offer in this turn. Terra Blast does correctly go into the Flamingo slot, so Porygon 2 is going to have to take this. But I imagine it's going to take it pretty well here, yeah, with the EV Light especially. Overheat into the Protect. And so, yeah, you're probably hyper-typing there, but, you know, the choice is obvious. Now you just redirect it to the Golden Go, because now that's likely to be crippled from that position, and this Magmar can taunt the Porygon 2, but it's still going to get consistent damage out with that Terra Blast, which... Terra Blast is actually a pretty good reasoning towards either of these Pokemon, you know, maybe... Not so much into the Magmar because of the special defense stat it has with the Eviolite and the decent HP stat that it provides. We're going to see the Terra Blast come out. It is indeed faster than the Golden Go, and it will knock out the Golden Go here. And so the Porygon 2 has two choices. Either clicks Terra Blast just to get guaranteed damage, or you just click Trick Room for one of your Pokemon in the back. Tyler's going to eliminate one of Michael's options, which is to eliminate the Trick Room and Recover option from this Porygon 2. And Porygon 2 instead clicks Ice Beam. And it won't be doing a lot of damage, but it does get the freeze! Although, I will have to say this freeze probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because, well, the Magmar... Okay, Ursula comes in here, so I'm trying to figure out if there's a way Tyler can get back in this game, you know. I think Overheat does unthaw Indeedee, but I'm also pretty certain it knocks out Indeedee from that range. And that's the problem with locking so. I mean, no, that was the problem with the Wide Guard, because you didn't really have a choice in the matter of locking yourself into Terra Blast Psychic. Because if you click Expanding Force, it's not going to last forever because of the Psychic terrain probably running out in this exact turn. And so, your best damage output against this Ursaluna is probably going to get weakened, and especially because now that it's frozen, it's not going to get a lot of options going. Not going to get a lot of damage going here. Here comes Flamingo now for Michael. Probably to take a hit, and then Indeedee takes his stays frozen for the time being. And Overheat. Ooh, I was expecting to have to go into the opposing Indeedee of Tyler, but instead they didn't want to risk knocking themselves out. But it's not going to matter as Michael's going to KO the Indeedee, and with Magmar's damage output being ridiculously low, I believe Michael's going to go ahead and take game number 1 pretty convincingly. And there's the Flame More activating on the Ursaluna, which will proc that Guts ability to increase that attack stat by 1.5, and yeah, Tyler's going to go ahead and forfeit game number 1. Michael Wagner going to take game number 1. And a pretty offensive showcase from that Golden Gun. You're taking 2 knockouts with the Shadow Ball on the Corviknight and to the Annihilate. And so, I believe the game plan is going to have to shift from Tyler because you clearly took too much damage from the turn 1 double up from Close Combat and Shadow Ball. And when you do take too much damage from those combination attacks, you have to be wary of when you go for, you know, your Roost, your bulk ups, and whether to side coaching, because clearly the side coaching was the right idea. The problem is just like it really just took too much damage before the coaching came out. Now, I don't really see there's much changing from Michael's end because, well, if you're Michael, Flamingo will clearly work because you were just able to launch out attacks out of basically free will thanks to the speed advantage you had against the Annihilate and the Corviknight. And then the Porygon 2 are still going to as well in the back, you know, really solidify a pretty good defensive unit for Michael as well. And so Tyler, they either need to go aggressive with the Indeedee immediately or find a way to get the wacky stuff in with the Tyranitar and Alolan Duck trio combination. As you do see, there is a Bright Powder on an Alolan Duck trio. That will come up because, well, it does pack the Sand availability and the Bright Powder, so it's increased evasion in the Sandstorm and decreases of accuracy for the opponents with that Bright Powder. And then Michael basically has no way to stop Tyler's weather control, but Flamigo is a way to stop weather control in the first place. So let's just go ahead and see, go into game number 2, see what each trainer leads. Michael going ahead and lead Flamigo Goldingo once again, you know, not really changing it up. You know, it worked the first time, why not work a second time? Tyler once again in the lead, the Corviknight and the Annihilate. But he's gotta be very wary of a turn 1 double up because clearly, again, you took too much damage to turn 1, game 1. And when you don't take too much damage, you will be in a proper position, you know, to launch those power trips, launch those Brave Birds, and potentially just start roosting immediately because, well, you know you're going to take damage from the first 2 attacks. But you also have to be mindful that Michael might just not launch the double up onto the Corviknight, maybe just launch Shadow Ball to the Annihilate and knock it out before he gets the coaching off, and then you're only going to be roosting the close combat damage back to full, and basically you just lost Annihilate for almost no reason here. There's the close combat once again to the Corviknight, not going to take it under 50% HP, will lower Flamigo's defenses as well. Shadow Ball goes into the Annihilate, there you go. And that removes the coaching option from Tyler. No, never mind, lives on 9 HP. That was a high roll the last time supposedly, so now we get the coaching off to increase Corviknight's attack and defense by 1. And a roost was clicked, I believe, by Tyler as well, so they were aware that it was going to take damage, and now it's going to heal back up. And now this Corviknight's in a better position than it was the last game because now you actually got the coaching off into the Corviknight with the Annihilate. And with the Psychic Seed and this incoming Indeedee for Tyler, that's going to be an increased special defense stat as well, meaning it's going to be a lot more bulkier than it was the previous time. And then for Michael, you're going to have to look into a possibility of, okay, how am I going to deal with this raid boss Corviknight now with increased attack defense and now increased special... Oh wait, never mind, that's a Tyranitar coming in here, so there will be no Psychic Seed proc just yet, but it will be a Sandstorm. And another close combat goes into the Corviknight. It takes it a lot better than the last time thanks to that defense boost I got for the coaching from the Annihilate. Make It Rain comes out from this Golden Goat, doesn't even do half of the Tyranitar. Corviknight goes under half HP. But I believe this Flamigo's not going to appreciate this turn here because it is a Brave Bird going into this Flamigo. It will hold on to that Focus Dash, but the Sandstorm chip going to knock it out. It's Golden Goat now at -1 stage of special attack with that Make It Rain. The Tyranitar is in a nice spot against that Golden Goat now that Make It Rain is not going to do a whole lot of damage with that Sandstorm and Assault Vest that it's holding. It's not going to appreciate looking at Porygon 2 or Ursaluna because Porygon 2 does have the Terra Fighting available to it, which is a quad weakness to the Tyranitar and the special attack boost that it got from the download. Meaning it will hit harder with that Terra Blast, should it go for the fighting variant. But Corviknight's got to survive the turn because, well, you are at least outspeeding the Porygon 2. You survive a Shadow Ball at -1 though. If you don't, then your answer is to activate a Psychic Seed with the Indeedee. Yeah, Tyranitar is going to get out of play here on the field. In comes Indeedee now, and that will activate the Psychic Terrain, which will activate the Psychic Seed on the Corviknight, increasing the special defense by 1. And by increasing that special defense, you know, it's effectively a +2 special defense against that Golden Go, meaning you should survive a Shadow Ball here. But will it though? Will it KO the Corviknight? It holds on at 3 HP. Michael smiling here, but that's interestingly enough not a roost. It's a power chip into the Golden Go. That's not even enough to knock it out either. Trick Room goes up, meaning Porygon 2 can now knock out the Corviknight pretty free. And this indeed is not the slowest thing in play thanks to that choice card that it's holding. And so, what do you do if you're Tyler? Because you gotta click Expanding Force now. You don't have a choice. You are going to survive whatever Golden Go does. You are going to take at least one hit from the Porygon 2. Corviknight now in heavy trouble at 3 HP, choosing not to roost the last turn. Which is an interesting decision because I definitely do agree that Power Trip definitely was better against that Golden Go to potentially knock it out, but because it didn't knock out, you lose a lot of momentum. Now that Corviknight is likely going to go down to whatever Porygon 2 does, whether it be Ice Beam, Terra Blast, or maybe another Shadow Ball. And rightfully so, Corviknight has to retreat into Tyler's Golden Ball. They're going to bring in Tyranitar in place. And here comes the Terra Psychic from Tyler as well, as they want to at least maximize the damage output out of the Zeniti with that Expanding Force that it should likely be going for, unless he prefers the single target damage of Terra Blast. And here's Ice Beam into the Tyranitar. It's going to take it pretty beautifully here. And another freeze from the Porygon 2's Ice Beam. 2 for 2 in Ice Beams. Make it rain. Not going to knock out either Pokemon. Tyranitar hangs on with 8 HP. Golden Goat's going to take a lot more damage on that Life Orb. Expanding Force comes out from this Terra Psychic Indeedee into Psychic Terrain. It will knock out Golden Goat. Porygon 2 goes under half HP, but that's probably an incoming Ursaluna from Michael. Oh boy, this Tyranitar getting frozen is just the worst thing that happened for Tyler. I mean, now that the Ursaluna comes in here, it's probably going to be very, very slow, which means, like, ultimately, I don't think this freeze is going to matter against the Tyranitar if the Ursaluna is indeed slower. But we also don't know if Porygon 2 is slower, because if they were both slower than the Tyranitar, then the freeze ultimately didn't matter. If Tyranitar's slower, it definitely matters. Tyler's down to 3 turns of Trick Room remaining. And as well, very low HP Pokemon on every side of the spectrum. Annihilate at 21 HP, Corviknight at 3 HP. You gotta get Indeedee out of here just so you can have win condition in mind when your Trick Room runs out. And in comes Corviknight into the line of fire. And the Headlong Rush, unfortunately, does not work against the flying type of Corviknight. And we do confirm that Tyranitar's freeze ultimately did not matter due to the slow nature of both Ursaluna and Porygon 2. Guts will activate on the Ursaluna. Porygon 2 is going to take a bit more chip damage. But I think Michael has a better HP advantage as of right now with those 2 turns left to Trick Room. Is there a way? Yeah, no, I believe Michael is going to win this game number 2. I'm looking at the predictions that I'm going to be seeing here. Annihilate will come in here. Neither of these Pokemon protects because they don't have to move on their move pool. Yeah, there is 2 turns left to Trick Room. Unfortunately, though, I believe you just click. Okay, well, Earthquake is an option. I don't think Michael should click it because, well, yeah, Footsaw is better guaranteed against Corviknight, which ultimately probably would have been a better choice here. Corviknight will go down. This Ice Beam should be coming out into this Annihilate. Will knock out the Annihilate from the Porygon 2, excuse me. Annihilate goes down, and you're down to a choice card for Indeedee that's going to get outsped. Can protect once, but you're locking yourself into protect. This is just like a masterclass performance from Michael because, well, Tyler brought... I think he brought the right Pokemon. It's just like Michael's team has proven to be a lot more... sturdier and more resilient against something like that of Tyler's setup because, well, Michael has immediate damage output with a lot of his Pokemon. Well, Barney and Centerorny and Moongus, but those are just defensive measures. And Tyler locks into Protect with the Choice Scarf. So you are going to get out of Trick Room, but once again, you cannot switch out of moves. And Recover comes up for Porygon 2 just to rub salt in the wound. Michael gonna heal up more HP. This is just, once again, ladies and gentlemen, a masterclass of piloting the Flamigo Balance Core. With the Psychic Terrain also going away inconveniently in that turn. Silas going to forfeit. Michael Wagner going to take round number 1 of the 3rd Autumn Gym Challenge in a 2-0 fashion. And with that being said, that was an incredible round 1 from Michael. He's looking to make waves with 12 people in deck for our 3rd Autumn Challenge. And with that being done, all we can say is good luck to the rest of the trainers, good luck to Tyler, good luck to Michael, and good luck to every one of our competitors, as we will be going to a quick break here for round number 2 once we get into our break, which will be happening just shortly.